You're listening to The Monetized Mom, the podcast that teaches moms of faith how to monetize their expertise online to create influence, impact, income, and more importantly, financial independence. I'm your host, Flo Alexander. Let's chat. Hey mama, if you're listening to this, I know one thing about you. You want to be able to exit your corporate career so that you can spend more time with your spouse and kids, have the freedom to travel and live life on your own terms, all while creating real transformation and impact in the lives of others with your expertise. Well, you're in luck. I just released a new case study on the method moms are using to build a profitable online business, make a full-time income from home, and quit their 9-to-5. You can access it now at themonetizedmom.com/study. That's themonetizedmom.com/study. Again, themonetizedmom.com/study. Let's get on with the show. Today is a special day because I have a special guest for you all. We're going to be talking all about visibility, becoming confident on camera. As you are building your online brand and your online business, it is going to be critical and imperative that you master the art of video. So if you've been nervous about starting video, if you've been afraid to do live streams, if you haven't been confident on camera, this is the Thursday live stream that you need to be tuned into. Listen, we are in for a treat today. We have the one and only Roshanda Pratt, who is the creator of the Roast Show Live. And that is a platform that helps entrepreneurs and organizations boost their marketing ROI, return on investment, guys, through brand storytelling and live video. A digital media pioneer with 2 decades, 20 years of experience producing TV news. Roshanda is a visibility expert in coaching clients to find their voice, engage their audience, and grow their business. She is also an international speaker and the author of the Amazon bestselling book, CEO of Live Video, Discover the Fundamentals of Dominating Live Video. In her most recent book, Visibility is Power, Discover the Power of Being Seen and Heard. And she didn't include this in her bio, but I'm going to throw it out here. She's also a podcast host. So we might even jump into that on the Bad Christian podcast. So, that's a little catchy. It might be a little edgy for some of y'all, but she is the host of an amazing podcast as well. So without further ado, you guys, I want to bring Roshanda on, and I want to fangirl for a bit, but I'm going to bring her on the podcast. Hi, Roshanda. How are you doing?
I'm so stoked to be here. Thank you, friend, for the invitation. You are amazing. And I'm excited about today's conversation.
Thank you. She is fabulous, y'all. I just love her style. She is fabulous. Let me tell you.
Thanks,
lady. I learned of you through, we have mutual acquaintances. Okay. So probably if we go on Instagram and see who we're probably following the same people.
For sure.
And so I started following you maybe it's been years I've been following you. And I remember I knew it was destiny when you answered a question. It was the most random question. I was like, I think I asked about, how do you get the depth of field or something on your videos?
Yes.
And you told me about the background. I have that background. I've yet to use it, but because of you, I purchased that background. And then you also said, make sure your camera is clear. So you know what I have every time I go live? I have a microfiber, cleaning cloth to clean my camera. So
be still my heart.
Your work is not in vain at all.
I love it.
I appreciate it. Your brand is amazing. So I'm excited for you to share your wisdom over 2 decades on video. So let's hop in, because I know some of these ladies are excited to learn more about live stream and video and how to be confident on camera. So the first question that I have for you is, in a world where everyone is on the internet, and it seems saturated, we're just using those words, right? How do we stand out with video?
Such a great question. I think one of the things, and I hear this question a lot, people use it, I'm going to go ahead and say it, as an excuse of why not to show up, because there's already someone who's a video coach. There's already someone who's a mom coach. There's already someone who's selling the product that I'm selling. And the thing I tell them is that I think saturation is not true. I don't give energy to that. I don't give thought to that, because if you drive out of my neighborhood, you will see a gas station opposite of each other on the same block. Literally, you drive out here and they're opposite of each other. But the thing about it is they may be selling the same product, but they're not selling the same experience, the same brand. And I think that's what can separate you in this digital streets from everyone else is when you know what your the experience you want people to have when they encounter you. You know who you are and whose you are, and you know how you want to show up and your presentation style. I think that's what has been I'll go ahead and say it, my saving grace. Everybody's talking about video and how to create content with video, and how have I been able to get some of the opportunities and all the things that have come my way from showing up online is because I'm very intentional about what is the experience I want people to have of me and with me. I'm very intentional about what is our brand, what is our mission, what is our why? Why are we doing this? Am I showing up because I wasn't picked at dodgeball in middle school and now all of a sudden I can go viral and that's feeding ego? For me, it's not about that. For me, it's about I truly want to make impact in people's lives. I want to take my corner of the internet, however small or big it is, and I want to make it better. So when I hear you say things today, when you introduce me, that you now use your tech cloth, you bought the backdrop, that does my heart so good, because for me, that's making impact. That's making influence. And it happened through a video or something that I did on social. So I think all the things that I shared there are ways that you can stand out. Creating experience for people with you and of you, being very clear on your brand message, being very clear on your story and how that story connects to your audience. Those are all ways that you can stand out in the digital space.
Oh man, so many gems here. First of all, I have to say story. The people who are in my group coaching program, we talk about story all the time. We talk about our signature story and developing that. So, I mean, if y'all haven't done that part of the assignments yet, look, you got a cosign. You got a cosign.
Get to work.
Exactly. Now, you talked about the experience. How can we curate an experience for people via video? Like, what does that tangibly look like, creating an experience for people?
So I think one of the coolest ways that you can create experience for people through video is what we're doing here with live video, right? This is a podcast, but you're also doing the video component, which allows people to come in. One of the things that I did very early on, friend, when I started hitting that go live button, and this may be my years of working as a television news producer, I knew very early on I was not going to be one of these people just hitting the go live button just to hit it, but I wanted to create an experience. So very early on from the beginning, I created a show. Mm-hmm. So I created the Rose Show Live as a show. So when we were doing a live show, we stopped this year, but don't worry, little breaking news here. I'm going to bring back the live show next year because I do miss it. I do miss doing a weekly live show, but we were doing like a live show 3 or 4 times a week, right? And we would do this with live guests. We would have commercials running, all of these things, like all of the things. So I really just decided that I want people to have an experience with me. I think another way that you can have experience, if you're not a person who wants all the bells and whistles of what we're doing here today, but even when you create your video, whether it's this short form video like TikToks or Reels, thinking of what's the experience I want people to have with me. So one thing that's an experience that people will see time and time again in my videos, you will see me with a pair of glasses. Now, here's the funny thing. These glasses have now become a part of the brand. That was not intentional. I just need these things to see. But apparently it became a thing. And I found out through TikTok that people would tell me that they would stop their scroll when they saw me because, quote, this is what they said, who's this lady with these glasses? She must have something to say. So these big frames have become a part of what? The experience. And so people would ask me, where did you get your glasses? And, oh, I loved what you said that. Oh, and I also like the glasses too, sis. It became a part of the experience. So think about it. I have another friend who does this. What is your favorite color? Can you create an experience around that? So most of my audience knows I love the color yellow. our editing suite in our studio, everything over there is yellow. It's my favorite color. It makes me happy. But if you see me live, especially doing a television interview, you will see some shade of yellow, right? So my friend Doreen Morin, she is known for her orange frames. So anywhere when she's live, you're going to always see her with her orange frames, but you're also going to see something orange in the background. And sometimes she does a little thing with her audience. Anybody spot anything new today in the setup? Anybody spot anything that's new? Jerry Seinfeld actually did this. If you've watched Jerry Seinfeld's show, there was always a Superman in the background.
Never noticed.
Right? Never noticed. But for those who may be hardcore fans, they may have noticed that. And that's things that help to create an experience. It doesn't have to be anything big and elaborate, but maybe it's just a small thing that means a lot to you. That's a part of the experience for your audience.
That is awesome. Yes, I do notice the glasses because I'm like, she is fabulous every time she gets on this camera. I expect nothing less.
Thanks. No pressure.
I'm sorry. No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
To have something that's signature to the people who are engaging with you. That's a great gem. If y'all didn't catch it now. Have something that sticks.
Correct. It could be a sign off. It could be the way you introduce yourself. I became known as the first lady of visibility. And so now people say it, the Rose Show Live. People know that more than they know my real name. I think about the fact that I always say in the digital streets. People have actually asked for that to be a t-shirt. There's like, oh my gosh, can you make that a t-shirt? I was like, maybe, but it's a thing, right? It's visibility is power. It's become a whole catchphrase. So being aware of those are things that you can create an experience around.
That is awesome. Now, for the person who is like, okay, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know that I need to be on video. Everybody's on TikTok. Everybody's doing reels and, everything originates from TikTok, but whatever.
Right.
What if I'm not confident on camera? What if I'm not an extrovert? Mind you guys, I'm an introvert. So let's dispel that myth. But what if I'm not confident on camera?
Yeah.
What do you say to that person?
Well, you're looking at a lady whose story began much like theirs. I am an extrovert, but this is the funny thing about that. I learned how to be an extrovert. I think if I go back to my childhood, I really was shy, but I learned to be an extrovert because my dad was a welder. And so we always moved where the business was. So I was always the new kid in class. And when you're the new kid in class, you always have to learn how to introduce yourself to people and all those kinds of things. So I have learned how to be an extrovert. But even with that, here's the funny story. I worked in television news for 20 years and I wanted to be on camera. I wanted to be a reporter and ultimately take over Oprah's job. But here's the funny part about that. It's difficult to do that when you don't like your voice. It's difficult to do that when you don't like how you look on camera. It's tough to do that. So I was terrified of the camera. I didn't like it and I didn't think it liked me. So one of the things that I had to do, two things that I'll give to your audience today that I had to do to help build my camera confidence. We have a course that goes into details of this, but two things. Number one, I had to realize that this lens is not the enemy. I had to realize this is not my enemy. I had to learn how to treat the camera like a friend. So what does that mean, Erica? One of the things I had to do, I love that she says I'm speaking to her. One of the things I had to do was this. I had to learn how to talk to this camera like I was talking to my best friend, right? I had to treat the camera like a friend. Number two, I had to learn how to honor my own voice. I have learned in life, whatever you dishonor, you won't profit from. Whatever you dishonor, you will not profit from. And I had to learn how to honor my voice. I had to learn how to listen to my voice because I think a lot of times when we hear ourselves on, especially the first time doing a video, you really hear yourself. You're like, wait a minute, why do I sound squeaky when I get nervous? Right? Why does it feel like there's a frog in my throat? What is going on here? So you have to learn how to honor your voice and really learn how to honor this as an instrument. Realize this? Your voice is an instrument. And so I had to learn how to honor it so I could profit from it. And when I did that, it was a game changer. And the last thing, I'll give you a bonus. I had to go back to my why. Why am I showing up here in the digital space? Because your why is the North Star that directs everything that you do. What is the real reason why I'm here? And I can tell you the real reason why I started in this digital space and I'm still here is because I want to help people like you, Erica, and everybody else who's watching this live or in the replay. I want to help you understand that your voice is powerful, that you deserve to be seen and heard, that your visibility is power, that you no longer have the right to remain silent, that silence is never golden. And that has been my reason to show up more than what was missing at the time that I felt in my life.
Y'all, that is powerful. Jamila said that's good. We need to get out of our own heads.
Yes.
The camera is not my enemy. Honor what makes you stand out. Completely
That's it.
agree. Danielle said, my voice is powerful. I deserve to be seen and heard. Yes.
That's right.
Absolutely. So now that we've gotten their confidence up, right?
Yes.
What's the first step? Like, okay, I got my camera.
I got this camera. What do I do?
Exactly. What is the first step? So if someone is like, okay, I'm going to go live, she has empowered me and has motivated me. Mm-hmm. What is the first step that you tell them to take?
First step is really know who you're speaking to. That's important because you want to be able to speak their language. You want to be able to call them out, to call them up. Let me say that again. You want to be able to call them out, to call them up, because people are looking for solutions and you're the answer. You are the answer to their problem. So I have to be able to speak to them in a way that they understand that I'm the solution. I'm it. So you have to understand, who am I speaking to? Who am I creating this live for? Who is this for? So you have to understand that. And I think the second thing is you have to be very clear on, what am I coming to serve the people? We have all heard it time and time again. Lead with value. Your content has to be valuable. The video has to be valuable. What does that mean? What does that look like? And I think it goes back to, how can I serve people at the highest level? And one of the ways that you can serve people and create great content is answer their question. I mean, I'm here on this podcast with you, new friend, because what? I answered your question. I wasn't a gatekeeper. I answered your question. I said, oh, great question. This is what I did. This is how you do this, X, Y, and Z. So going back to developing this mindset where we're answering people's questions, we're coming with this mindset of, I am here to serve. And when I serve people well and give their value, they're going to want to do life and business with me. And then we take time to put the video together. Notice, I haven't even talked to you about hitting the button yet. This is all pre-work. So it's taking, I love index cards, right? I got a bunch of them here and a bunch of them all over the office here. But it's taking it and writing down what you're going to do and the flow of your broadcast on an index card, right? I love index cards because it holds me accountable. But here's a little secret tip, come back and revisit this again. Because you created it once doesn't mean you can't create it again and again and again. And you know how I know that's true? I worked in TV for 20 years. Ask me how many times we told the same story over and over again. Hello.
And with this algorithm, it's probably guaranteed that half the people didn't see it anyway.
Correct. So it's like, stop beating yourself over the head or create this mindset that I have to create something new. Yes, there is a thing for new content, but you created it. Listen, circulate it back out there again. Or if it did really well, hey, create another version of it, right? So this is all the pre-work before you ever hit the go live button. And then when it's time for showtime, it's time for you to show up. Show up for your people, whether it's 0 or it's 1 person. Because one of the greatest things I learned about one can become 1 more. If I show up for that 1, that's how I grew the Ro Show Live in those beginning years. I showed up for 1 person. Every day I hit that button. I was like, I'm showing up for the 1. And that 1 started tagging their friends. And 1 became 1 more. And 1 became 1 more again. And now we're up to 3. And 3 became 3 more. Come on. And it just kept going and going and going. Why? Because I served the 1 like it was 100, the 1 like it was 1,000. And no wonder you have live videos that can garner 1,000+ views, 19,000 views. Why? Because I came in there and I served one like it was more than one. And then at the end, a clear call to action. I learned that in TV. Tell people what you want them to do next. If you watch your local news or even national news, you will see them tell you, if you want more information, go to our Facebook page, go to our website, click on the big red 10, et cetera, depending on where you are in the country. They're always telling you what to do next. Direct your people on what you want them to do next. I know that was a long answer, but I believe I
it
cleared
was
it.
valuable. And so for some of you guys, this all should sound so very, very familiar.
I love it.
Who is it that you're talking to, providing that value, answering questions, and that's how you come up with that content. Danielle jokingly said the first step is to buy an expensive editing tool, and we know that that is a lie of the enemy.
Right.
That's just an excuse. She says she's joking, but on that note, though, for someone who is just starting and they see the people with all the editing and the bells and whistles and this graphic and that and this shooting that, like, where do they start? How do they, not get overwhelmed by the tech stuff?
I still use my phone. I'm on my Mac computer here, my MacBook Pro. I still use my smartphone to do a lot of things. If you look at my stuff, I don't do a lot of wowsy editing because let's be honest, I just don't have time. I have 3 kids, just a husband. It's a lot of stuff going on over here in the Rochelle Live world. I just don't have the capacity, right? And I still like to be very hands-on with my content. Can I outsource that? I outsource some of it to my VA, but I don't do that intentionally because I want people to see, while those things are great, I have found that when a lot of people rely on that heavily, a lot of the flash, they usually lack substance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Gonna get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I just said that. Yes. When people are a lot of flash, they lack substance. I remember a couple of years ago, I had a conversation with a client and she's talking about she was producing a show and she was talking about, I'm going to have this live music and all of this stuff. And it was all this razzle dazzle. And I said, well, where's the content? And she had not focused on the substance piece, but a lot of the glam, the lights, the camera, the action, all that stuff. And I just said, yeah, but people are not coming for music. They can listen to that on their phone. What they're coming for is for you to transform them, for you to be impactful. Let's focus on the content. And I told her, I said, the reason why you want to put all this stuff and you want to get bells and whistles, I mean, she wanted to outfit a whole studio, like all the stuff. And I said, the reason why you want to do all of that is because you haven't taken confidence in what you are.
Ooh.
And you're trying to make up for that in all of these other things. Listen, before I had these nice lights and this background and all of this stuff, I had a white wall and a message in my heart. A white wall and a message. That was it. I grew to this. So my thing is start where you are, but don't make the excuse that I don't know how to point to something and put the words over there. I don't know how to add the music. Listen, learn that. But I'm just saying, start where you are and grow to where you want to go.
Yes. And that's I don't want to say the unfortunate reality, but the reality. So I've been online since 2011. So it's been over a decade now. And I've seen like some of the big name people that we see today. I've seen when they just started out. And I think now when people are just entering in, they may get intimidated by someone's year 10 versus their year 1. So it's empowering to hear someone else say like, no, just pick up the camera, have a message in your heart. People want, if we're honest, people want to cut through all the fluff and actually get to the people who are actually providing value anyway. So it's our job and our responsibility to step up and actually provide that value.
For sure.
So let's talk about engaging. So this person, we walked them through the journey. They built their confidence up.
Yes.
They know what they need to do first. They hit play or they hit live or whatever. No one's there. We're going to get over that. How do we start getting engagement? Like, what are those things that we can do to drive engagement?
Yeah. One of the things not to do is, because nobody's there, say you're waiting for people to show up.
Oh, God.
Can I just have a moment? Can I just get on my soapbox for just
Please
a moment?
Do.
For all that is holy in the world, Please, sir. Please, ma'am, don't do that. I know you've seen some of your favorite stars do it, and they're wrong. Don't do that. Let me tell you something. Pat Sajak and Vanna White are not waiting for Erica to show up before she hits those letters, right? She's not waiting. So it's like, don't wait. It's very amateurish. It's very, the people in your replay audience hate it because now they have to sit through the awkwardness of silence. So don't do it. The thing about it is, while you're waiting for people to join, introduce yourself. Tell them what you're going to talk about, right? Give them some instructions to engage. For example, hey, if it's your first time here, use hashtag newbie. If you've been here before, let me put in OG or whatever your experience is, right? Let me know what city, state, or even country that you're watching from, right? That's a way to keep the engagement and boost the engagement. It's almost like teachers when they give you busy work. You guys remember that in school? You know, the teacher, it's like one day until her vacation and she's giving you like coloring sheets. And you're like, man, we could have stayed home for this, right? It's just busy work. So it's almost the same thing in the live video space. It's like, how do I keep them busy and engaged? So I actually tell my people when we're watching, hey, you guys make sure to share your notes here in the comment section, your aha moments or big takeaway, because the people in the replay can go back and see your notes. And they do it. So those are some ways that you can engage with people. But one way not to engage is just waiting for people to get there. And then the other thing I see people do is this whole thing of just broadcasting to people. See, that's what we did for years in television. And broadcasting is I'm just speaking at you and not with you. See, live video gives us the capabilities of doing that. You were doing that as you were popping up comments and talking and engaging with the audience. Those are types of engagement. And then after the video, hey, 10 minutes max. Go back through the comments and engage with people. Heart, like, welcome people, those kinds of things. That helps the algorithm to boost your thing, but it also helps to boost engagement with the people who invested their time to be there.
Now, the last question that I want to ask you is for someone who feels like, okay, I've missed the wave. I haven't gotten on TikTok. I haven't started my YouTube channel. I haven't been creating reels. What would you say to that person? Is it too late or how can they quote unquote catch up?
I don't think it's too late. I think what the pandemic has provided for us is another wave of momentum. But one of the things that I want you to be very clear in understanding is that momentum, when it comes, it is not required rather to give you an encore. When a surfer rides a wave, that's momentum. And they ride it until it starts to die down, right? You have to understand, according to Forbes, especially during the pandemic, creators created another economy called the creators economy, $100 billion economy. Amazing. And these are people who did this from their home with their smartphone. Do you understand there are people who consider themselves amateurs who are getting paid for creating their video content? What am I saying to you? You haven't missed it. You've been given another opportunity. But now that that opportunity is here, hunker down on it. Focus, double down on it. Whether it's, I'm going to focus on creating Facebook Live videos and Facebook Reels, or I'm going to jump in with these IG Reels. YouTube, listen, YouTube is still viable. And even so now than it was a couple of years ago, getting on the YouTube train or TikTok. You didn't miss it. You were giving another opportunity. But now that you have that opportunity, don't squander it.
That's a good word, you guys. A good word. I do want you to connect with Roshanda. So can you tell them how they can connect with you and get more of these gems that you are dropping?
Sure. So I am the Rose Show Live all across social media. That's TheRoShoLive, the Rose Show Live. And specifically, if you want more camera confidence tips, how to tackle the imposter syndrome, and how to build a brand with video, check out my YouTube channel, which is Visibility is Power TV. Visibility is Power TV on YouTube.
Don't forget to follow Roshanda on her social media platforms at the Rose Show Live. And then you also want to check her out on YouTube at Visibility is Power TV. And then, of course, I will drop the links for her book and everything else in the comment and the description of this video. So be sure to check that out as well. Roshanda, do you have any parting words for the people?
Listen, this has been so much fun, and I'm so glad that you had me here. And as a thank you, I am sending you a Visibility is Power tech cloth because, yeah, you need to be reminded that your visibility is power, friend. So I'm sending you a Visibility is Power tech cloth so that way you can have that to clean off your devices. And I just want to remind everybody here, listen, silence is not golden. And you no longer have the right to remain silent. Your visibility is power, and you deserve to be seen, heard, and paid. So step into it. Thank you, friend.
As always, I hope that you found this episode helpful. If you did, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review. And with that, I'll talk to you in the next episode.